Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Frank Mularcik, and in this video we're going to be recapping my 2021 goals. I made a video about this at the beginning, all the way at the beginning of 2021, about my goals for the year in a few different categories. So we're going to be going over those goals, how I did with them, and also looking at my new goals for 2022 and just look at those and talk about them as well. So right now we're just on this little spreadsheet I made with the goals. So we can see I had three categories, basic categories: YouTube, life, and financial goals. So first, talking about YouTube, definitely did not do as good as I was hoping for. So my subs goal, or subscribers goal, was 1,500, and as of the recording of this video on January 1st, I'm only at about 700. I think it's maybe 690 to be exact. So pretty far off that goal still. Definitely thought some things were going to go a little bit quicker. It's definitely been a little bit harder than I thought it would be, just to grow the channel and everything like that. But it's still something I want to be involved with. It's still something I want to keep doing, which we're obviously going to talk about in the 2022 goals. So we did not reach that one, and another one was get monetized, which, if you don't know, you have to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the past year. So I'm getting fairly close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, but I'm still fairly distant from the 4,000 hours of watch time. And part of the problem there as well is it's only in the last year. So, you know, this channel has been producing videos for over a year. So some of those first videos and watch hours from the first videos in the fall, I guess, of 2020 when I started the channel, a lot of those watch hours aren't even counting anymore. So that's a little bit tricky. Hopefully I can get there in 2022 though. And the third goal there was just to post 2 times a week, which I did in fact meet. I don't think I've missed a post yet. Tuesday and Saturday at 9 a.m. is when I post, and I'm pretty sure all those have been on time, which I'm super happy with. And because I have that strict schedule, it's something I can plan around. And, you know, if I know I'm going to be really busy towards the end of the week, I can, you know, make sure the video is ready earlier in the week and just schedule it to be released at a certain time. So that's something that's not really that big of a deal. I can definitely work around my schedule, which is something I really like. So moving on to the quote-unquote life goals, it was to maintain a 4.0 GPA. I actually definitely did not maintain that. I think I'm around 3.9 right now. I got a B+ in one of my classes this last semester, and I think I got an A- in one of my classes in the spring semester of 2021. So obviously did not meet that. Still pretty close, still a pretty solid GPA that I'm happy with, but just did not meet that specific goal. Improved diet, this is obviously very qualitative and not quantitative, but I think I definitely met that goal. I've been focusing more on just trying to get in calories, get enough food. Honestly, some people overeat. I tend to just not undereat, but I think I just have a pretty fast metabolism and have always been fairly skinny. So definitely trying to put on some muscle this next year, and the diet is definitely a big part of that. They say abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. So that's something that's really important. And I also wanted to get a good co-op job, which I did in fact do. I had a co-op over the summer last year, and I'm going back to the same company for the spring semester this year. So I definitely achieved that goal, and continue reading. Again, most of these life goals I'm realizing now are pretty qualitative, aside from the 4.0 GPA, but continue reading, which I definitely think I met that goal. Honestly, looking back, I'm surprised by how many books I read. I ended up reading 17 books, which we're actually going to look at right here. I made a list of all the books I read. I split them up into these categories. Financial investing books, I'm surprised I only read 3 of those. I definitely wanted to read some more, and hopefully I'll read some more this next year. Some of these, you know, the categories are definitely not perfect. Personal growth books, I read a lot of these, it looks like, and a lot of them were very, very interesting. So if you want to pause the video and see any of the books I read in more detail, I'm not going to go through every single one. Then I read some, you know, more nonfiction and biographical books about Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, and then I read the Bad Blood book, which is about Theranos, and then I read a chess book actually, which was pretty short, but I still counted it. And then I read 2 little fiction books, which were pretty interesting, and I had these 2 miscellaneous books that are sort of I guess, they're definitely like opinionated books, but I wouldn't say they're, like nonfiction biography. I guess they definitely include lots of scientific research, but it's just sort of just didn't feel like it fit any of these categories, so I just left those out there. Going back to the goals, though, that is it for the life goals. And then financial goals was to earn $10,000 after taxes. Obviously, for most of the year, pretty much the only like official job I had was that co-op job over the summer, and I think I made around maybe $7,000 from that job after taxes. And we can look here. This is my spreadsheet for my expenses. Pretty basic. I just list out what it is, if it's an expense or an income, and actually throughout the year I broke it down into subcategories of expenses and incomes. But total expenses were around $6,000, and total income was around $11,800. So savings rate was only around 46%. I definitely would have liked to have that a little bit higher, but that is definitely not perfect. And part of the reason for that is this is pretty much after tax income, so that did not include any 401k contributions that I had, but it also did not include any tax liabilities that I had. So that it's not really perfect, but it is a pretty good approximation. So technically I did, save more money than this net value because I was putting some into my 401k, but that was also sort of earned income as well. So it's not perfect, bottom line, but it's a pretty good estimation, and I'm happy with that overall. Definitely would like to get probably above 50% next year, but we'll see how that goes. If we go back to the goals, next one was to max out the Roth IRA, which I did do, full $6,000 this year, and I definitely want to do that as well. And then the last one here was to reach $50,000 invested. Most of my investments are in the stock market, but I do have some cryptocurrencies and some other small things there, which I'm actually going to go over. I did not reach that goal. You can see at the beginning of the year, we were at about $30,000. So that was about a $20,000 gain, which would be, about 67% gain. Obviously, some of that would be from returns and some of that would be, from deposits. But by the end of the year, we got to about $47,000, which is a gain of about $17,000. And I also kept track of all the money I invested, minus 401k contributions. So I invested about $7,000 this year, which means the market growth was approximately almost $10,000, which is awesome to see. So my first Roth IRA is around $17,000 now, and my second Roth IRA is around $14,000. This one grew very rapidly this year, mostly because of 401k rollovers. So I had a 401k. You can see I had about $2,000 in my 401k at the beginning of the year. That was from my job in high school, so I no longer was working there, so I was able to roll that over into my Roth IRA. There will be tax implications, but that's beyond the scope of this. So I rolled that over, and then I also had a 401k from my job over the summer, which I got up to around $800. I made notes right here. So yeah, my high school 401k was about $2,000 that I rolled over into my Roth IRA, and then I had about $800 in my other 401k from my summer job that I rolled over, and only about half that was my contribution. So that's why the Roth IRA was able to grow so much, and most of my Roth IRA contributions for 2021 were to this account with Fidelity. So that one grew pretty rapidly, which I'm really excited about. Then I just have this regular brokerage account with Vanguard. It's about $6,500 right now, and that one is just invested in basic index funds. Pretty boring. My dividend account with Fidelity around $2,000. My M1 Finance account is around $600, and that's basically more growth stocks. They don't really pay dividends to speak of. And then my crypto portfolio is around $1,900, and this value is including some mined HNT. So I basically have about $400 worth of Helium cryptocurrency that's just sitting in my Helium wallet. That's not really an investment per se. It sort of is, but it's not like I went out and bought that Helium cryptocurrency and I'm going to sell it later when it's higher. I went out and bought some cryptocurrency miners and then received cryptocurrency from it. So I kind of counted that as part of my crypto portfolio, but around $1,900 there. And then my Robinhood options account is around $5,200. It definitely has not been doing as well the last quarter of 2021, but that's okay. So that rounds us out to $47,376.71 of my total investments. So that's where we're at with the goals. This is just a list of, all the cash contributions I made to my investment accounts to total to $7,394. But those are the goals. Obviously, I missed 4 of them and I achieved 6 of them there. So I'm happy with that overall. The ones that I did not achieve, well, in the case of my GPA and the investments, I was pretty close to them. And in the case of YouTube, it's just something where I expected it to grow faster than it did, and it didn't. And that's perfectly fine. I will hope to improve next year. So now on to my goals for 2022. Starting off with the YouTube goals, reach 1,500 subs and get monetized are exactly the same as my 2021 goals. I'm just going to stick with that, and hopefully I can get there. We will see. But part of that get monetized, like I was explaining before, was those 4,000 hours of watch time, and to kind of aid in that, but to also, provide some more content as well. I'm hoping to do at least 1 live stream per month. And basically what I'm thinking of, like I wrote down here as a little note, I'm thinking of doing, sort of a podcast type live stream. And hopefully that will be more than once a month. But if it doesn't work out and I'm only able to do it once a month, then, that's that. But basically my thoughts is that I want to invite people on that I know, maybe in my day-to-day lives or just through this financial investing community I'm a part of online. I want to invite some of those people on and talk about their investments, the reasoning behind their investments and their, specific goals for their investments. And hopefully just give myself and whoever's watching these videos some ideas or different perspectives from the, basic strategies that I usually talk about. My strategies are, I've definitely talked about them in the past, but they're not super diverse. There's definitely a ton of different ways to go about investing that I don't do. So I just want to get some other people on to talk about what they do. And I'm actually going to do one of these just by myself for the first one. Basically made an outline of different questions that I want to ask, not necessarily those specific questions, but sort of just topics I want to cover in the sort of interview, podcast, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to do one just by myself where I answer those as pertaining to me, and then in the future I will talk to other people about their feelings about those topics and questions and how that applies to their investments. So let me know if you guys think that's something you're interested in. That's just my current thoughts right now. Let me know if you do have any suggestions for that you think would make it better. But that's my thoughts for that, and I think I'll probably move forward with something like that in the next few weeks. And my other goal for YouTube is just to post 2 times per week like I did last year and have been doing it since. So next are my general life goals, and I want to first of all continue working on my current diet to improve it. It's not really a diet, just kind of what I eat, I guess, but diet is a easy word to use to describe that. So I want to focus a little bit more on tracking the actual calories and protein, because I think I'm in a pretty good spot, but I just want to make sure of that and increase calories a little bit in a clean way without a bunch of junk food, so I can put on some more muscle mass. And my second one out here is to continue working out, rowing and gaining muscle. So I am on the rowing team at the University of Cincinnati, and because of that, we work out pretty much every day of the week during the week. So I don't really lift as much anymore, but muscle gains for me are still a long-term goal. So I want to lift when I have the opportunity and continue rowing, which is certainly going to gain muscle in the long term from rowing in the legs and back. So I just want to focus on that, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the diet. The next one here is to get a fall co-op. So I'm co-oping in the spring this semester, then I'll be taking classes in the summer, and so my next co-op rotation would be in the fall, and I could just go back to my current company that I'm going back to this spring, but I think I wanted to try to get a different experience, so I want to try to find another company to work at. So that's just something that I need to do, I guess, and something I definitely am interested in. The next one is to continue reading, and I have 18, which is my goal of number of books to read. And generally, I'm not really a slow reader, but just in terms of putting aside time to read, I'm kind of slow. And so I want to focus a little bit more on audiobooks and CDs, because I realize I could read a lot of books if I listen to them on CD or something like that while I'm driving to work or just in the car in general. I tried, listening to books at the gym or stuff like that, but usually when I'm at the gym, I just don't focus on the book enough to really take in the information and really get much out of the book, but I think if I'm listening to it while driving, I'll get a lot more out of it, because I'm usually not like super focused on anything or distracted. So that's my goal for reading. On to financial goals. This year, upping it from 10K to 20K after taxes. Obviously, since I do have a spring and fall co-op, I'll have more working time, so it will be more doable, but also I want to increase some of the side incomes as well. And the next up is to max out the Roth IRA again. I think that's definitely doable. And third is to reach $75,000 invested. Like I showed, I'm right around 47,000, so that's an increase of around 28,000, which is pretty significant, I would say. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. We'll see how much I actually invest and how the market cooperates. This 75,000 invested really isn't super important to me that I reach that goal. And part of the reason is, actually contributing to your accounts is very important. And sometimes, most of my money is in just the total stock market or the S&P 500. So if those indexes don't do as good this year, then there's no way I'm going to reach that goal, So if the overall market doesn't cooperate, there's no way I'm going to reach that goal, but I think it's just a good goal to have. And the last one here is real estate. I just want to learn more about real estate. It's something I'm interested in, but I don't know at this point if it's something I want to get involved with or not. Obviously, I do invest in some real estate investment trusts on the stock market, but it's just something I want to learn more about. And if I do decide it's something I want to get involved in, that I would like to probably start saving for some sort of down payment. I'm really not even sure if I would want to do residential or commercial. I've heard a lot of good things about commercial real estate. I think generally the barrier to entry is probably higher in that if you're going to buy some commercial building, it's probably going to be pretty expensive compared to like just a duplex you would buy or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. But there's a lot of advantages to commercial real estate, I think. So just things I want to learn more about and understand. So after I made this video, I actually was editing another video and came up with one more goal that I did want to add, and that one is right here, which is improve posture. Just when I was editing that video, I realized how bad my posture was, and it's something that it's definitely not good. I've been trying to get a little bit better when driving. Sometimes I would have like my neck sticking like way out when I was driving, and it was definitely not good for me. But whenever I'm working on a computer, I oftentimes have pretty bad posture, so that's something I want to work on as well. That's about it for my goals for 2022. Definitely would like to hear you guys' suggestions on if you have any suggestions on how I can better reach these goals. Again, if you do have any suggestions for the live streams, I'm pretty excited for those, I think, and hopefully I will be able to meet that goal of doing those, and hopefully that will help my channel out, it will help my watch hours out, and it will be good for you guys, the viewers, as well. So thanks for a great 2021 to everyone out there who watches these videos. I really do appreciate that, and I hope you guys have a great 2022 as well, and I will see you in the next video.